poster now. So bigger, better, stronger, and more. Hashtag embracing the culture of research. And hashtag serving the almighty resource. So for change of ating poster, no? Mamaya na lang po. So pakilagay na lang po sa ating chat box, hulaan nyo lang po. Then after po ng ating closing message, tignan po natin kung sino po ang makabilang ng eksakto niyan. Okay? So ayan. Ayaw niya mag-next. Teka lang po Ayan. So, papakilala ko po muna ang sarili ko ay Maria Cristina Gutierrez Bagas, currently enrolled at De La Salle University, Dasmariñas, Cavite, taking up Doctor of Philosophy, major in Educational Management, a Master Teacher 1 from SDO Muntinlupa, and also from Sucat Elementary School, Sitio, Pagkakaisa, Annex Zone 4, your moderator for this evening. Okay, before we start, let's sing our Philippine National Anthem and followed by a prayer. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this seminar. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speaker so that he would be able to impart effectively his God-given knowledge to all of us. May he bless as he continue to bring his expertise to people who needs him. Bless the participants as well so that they would be able to glean the vital information from this activity. May you bestow your blessings after this seminar so that we may go out and spread what we learn in the spirit of your love and generosity. May we realize that this activity should glorify your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Ayan. Okay. So, ETCOR, Educational Research Center, under its advocacy project SAGIP Mananaliksik for Everyone, which main aim is to help researchers, students, and professionals all over the country, especially during this time of pandemic. Project SAGIP Mananaliksik one-on-one and its difference from Project SAGIP Mananaliksik for Everyone. Both projects are with DepEd advisory. We would like to acknowledge the presence of the overall project coordinators for the respective projects, Dr. Bernadette L. Lejarde for Everyone, and Dr. Adrian Lawrence P. Carvajal for One-on-One, And also, Dr. Richard D. Sanchez, our head research consultants. We have here also the presence of the regional coordinators, provincial, division, city coordinators, and all ETCOR research consultants who are present in this event. So good evening po ulit. Okay, now for our welcome message. So she is a teacher 3, a licensed professional teacher, graduated of Master of Science in Education, a Doctor of Philosophy candidate from Sudipen Vocational High School at DepEd, Sudipen, La Union. Let us all welcome Ma'am Minerva L. Duculan.
Maraming salamat, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay po. Isang mapagpalang gabi po sa ating lahat, mga kapanalig sa paminggalan ng dunong. Higit sa ating tagapagtaguyod, ang ating tagabahagi ngayong gabi, mga kalahok, regional provincial coordinators at mga research consultants, at mga managnanais maragdagan ang ginintoang dunong, isang maganda at malamig na gabi ng pagpapatalas ng dunong. Sa likod ng mapaghamong kasaysayan ng mapandinlang na sakit na ito, na nagpabigat ng pamamahinga na pagbabago at hamon sa ating lahat, lalo na sa ating tagahasik ng dunong, isang pagpupugay na kahit paano'y di tayo nagpadaig upang mga yupapa, sa halip tuloy lang ang pagkikipagsanggalang. Isang patunay ang ating sasagawa ngayong pag-uusap upang patuloy na hanguin ang dunong at ikintal di lamang sa isip natin, ganon din sa mga kabataang sumasailalim sa atin upang maging mas tunuring mamamayan. Malaki ang ambag ng ETCOR Educational Research Center sa pamamagitan ng advokasya nitong Project SAGIP Mananaliksik para sa lahat upang patuloy ang pag-usbong ng pagsisiwalat at pagsasaliksik sa mga bagay na ikahuhusay ng buhay at sa pagnanasa ng bawat Pilipino ay magiging sandata ng karunungan sa lahat ng aspekto, mapakritikal sa ibang kasanayan. Ang mahalaga, pinapingas natin lalo sila upang kung darating ang ating pamamahinga, ay naibigay natin ang natataging kalasag upang patuloy tayong maging isang masagana at bandila ng lubusang pagsulong. Mulit-muli, walang malalampas, taos ang aming pasasalamat sa inyong pagtugon sa aming panawagan sa ngalan ng inyong punong abala at pamunuan ng samahan ng ETCOR Educational Research sa pamumuno ni Dr. Richard D. Sanchez. Lubos po namin kayong tinatanggap ng buong puso at nakangiting umaasa ng sinigang gabi sa tuklas, galugad at alamat na wika ng pananaliksik upang mapagpapabayo natin ang pagsisikap, pagkakaisa at kaunlaran. Mabuhay tayong lahat at maging bagwis ng dunong.
Wow, maraming salamat po, Ma'am Minerva, talaga naman. So ng balahibo, no? Nakakataas ng balahibo, tayo po yun. Tayo po yung mga bayani ngayon, okay? So, eto na. Asa na ba yung aking slide? Nawala na. Okay. So, kapag live nawawala. Teka lang po wala talaga. Nakikita na po yung slide, ma'am and sir?
Yes po.
Opo, ma'am.
Hindi na siya nag-slideshow. Ano na kaya nangyari? Teka lang po uli Ano ba yan? Ba't kaya ayaw niya na mag-slideshow? Ay, Teka lang po. Okay. So again, thank you so much, Ma'am Minerva L. Duculan.
Welcome po, ma'am.
ETCOR, through its advocacy project SAGIP Mananaliksik for Everyone, presents that free 3-day webinar entitled Unveiling with the data, a call for every researcher. Day 3, sharing research findings. Okay. For some assignments and outputs that need to be submitted after the event to the lecturer's email address. So ito po yung ating mga house rules. Please turn off your microphone. You may or may not open your camera, but if you can, please open. Use as identification the acronym of your institution and your last name and first name. Example, PNU Flores, Marites. Questions or other thoughts may be typed in the chat box to be entertained after the talk. Okay. Doc Richard, nandiyan na po yung ating speaker.
Yes
Doc Yuli
po.
po. Okay, thank you. So our resource speaker is from St. Stephen's High School, Sta.Cruz, Manila. He is a licensed professional teacher, a Chinese supervisor of elementary and high school department. Let's give a virtual clap to Dr. Ulysses Yu.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Christy.
We welcome, sir.
Good evening to all participants.
Good evening po.
Good evening, sir.
I hope you'll be able to learn something tonight.
Good evening
So
po.
this is actually more of a learning process. We learn together, okay? Okay, so my report is all about research. My sharing is all about research report. So my name is Dr. Ulysses Yu. I'm from St. Stephen's High School. Our learning competencies for tonight is we're going to present a written research report. Number 2 is to revise written research reports based on suggestion and recommendations by the panelists. And lastly, write a clear report. First and foremost, we'd like to discuss again what is a research report. A research report is a written document or oral presentation based on a written document that communicates the following: the purposes, the scope. The purposes is why do we study this? The scope is the wideness. What is the objective? The hypothesis, the methodology, findings, limitation, and finally, recommendations of a research project to others. So from the word research, this is again and again, we're going to research something that has been reported or that has been published. And then we're going to do something more, to study more, so we can find out some more and improve on what have been studied. A research report is a reliable source to recount details, just what what I've said about a conducted research, and is most often considered to be a true testimony of all work done. Specific piece of a research. No? So if your study is all about education, we specify this into this education. If your study is about mathematics, and we concentrate on this mathematics, and so on. If your study is about Filipino, if your study is about sociology, there are so many areas to be studied. So what are the components of a research report? So you can see the details of a research report may change with the purpose of research, but the main component of a report will remain constant. Okay. Number one, the research report summary. This is the entire objective along with the overview of the research. So you can see that it should be interesting enough to capture all the key elements of the report. This is the abstract. When you say the abstract, when you at the very first of glance of the readers, you should be able to catch the readers from the interest. So there are key elements of the reports that they will be interested with. And then number 2 is the research introduction. This is where we can cover answers related to the goals and establish a thesis or a dissertation, which will be included to strive and answer it in details. So under that, we have these, the problems, the methodologies, and like what we've discussed here. Number 3, this is the research methodology. Is the most important section of the report where all the important information lies. Okay. And number 4, this is the result. The result is a short description of along with the calculation conducted to achieve the goal, which will form the section of the result. The result will be the basis for the findings and the recommendations for the next researchers to follow on with your research. And number 5, we have discussion. The results are discussed in extreme detail in this section, along with a comparative analysis of reports that could probably exist in the same domain. So you'll be comparing with other research and come up with a discussion. So how to improve on this, the findings of others and the findings of your studies or research. And lastly, research references and conclusion. This concludes all the research findings along with mentioning each and every author. Article, you have to mention all the author, article, or any content piece from where references were taken. So at the end of your research, you should be able to include all of these authors or the articles where you get these contents or the subjects in the bibliographies. Okay. Any question for the components of a research report?
None so far po. Sir Yuli, nakamute po kayo.
There are 2 types of research report. Number 1 is any research report. Number 1. This is any research report which contains the description on methodology, the results obtained, and the recommendations made. This is a typical dissertation or thesis, right? So if you're into dissertation writing, you'll meet all of this. You'll be able to see all of this. So the basic orientation of a research report depends on its audience. Sino ba yung target participants natin? So before writing, you must know his or her audience, okay? So like I'm going to write about the Chinese, Filipino Chinese schools. My audience is the Filipino Chinese students. So we also talk about the background, the interest, and the composition of our participants or our target. Okay, so for the research report 2, we have two kinds of report. Number one is the technical report, or this is suitable for a target audience of researchers. This is more on a precise, like this one. We have this report about COVID, how to face the COVID problems, the emerging of the e-learning, something like that. So research managers or other people familiar with and interested in the technicalities such as research design, sampling methods, statistical details, etc. Well, another kind of report is the popular report, which is suitable for a more general audience. This is for all. Kumbaga sa TV, it's more on general patronage. So interested mainly in the research findings as it is non-technical in nature. Wala siya masyadong mga specific or technical terms that the public cannot follow. These are the two types of research report. Now let's go to the report preparation and presentation process. So you can see the process. First step is the data analysis or the interpretation of the results of data analysis. And of course, we have this problem to be solved. We have the statement of the problems where we want to know what happened to these findings, and we want to know what happens to this. We want to give solution to these problems. And so, of course, we need to have research designs. So ang research design natin depends on what our problem needs, okay? And of course, it comes along with the methodology, which is the overarching strategy or the rationale of our research. So may I ask who's into dissertation writing? Baka pwede tayo mag-thumbs up or something. I myself is into dissertation writing at PNU. Anyone? Si Ma'am Christy.
Yes po, sir.
Nasa
Sino po?
dissertation
Ayan.
writing na tayo.
Wala pa po. Ayan po, may
Okay.
nagre-raise po ng hand. Si ano po? Sir
Si
Jose.
Jose.
Opo,
Okay.
Sir Jose. Good evening, sir.
Na matapos natin, no?
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. Yes po, ongoing po ang dissertation ko. Hopefully, I'd be able to have my final defense this coming mid-year semester.
Okay, so God bless your journey on your dissertation writing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's have a review. The process, what are the components of the process? As we have mentioned. So we have this data. Can you find data here? Ano yung mga apat na processes? You have data, analysis, methodology, and design, right? Okay. So tandaan lang natin yung apat na yan. Okay. To continue, before writing the report, it is necessary to ensure that the report meets the client's or the audience or our participants' needs and is ultimately accepted. First, the researcher should discuss the major findings, conclusions, and recommendations with the key decision makers. Okay, so we're going to discuss with our target participant or target audience or the school or the company or whatever subject you are targeting. Okay, and number two, the entire research should be summarized in a single written report or in several reports addressed to different readers. Okay, it's not just the group of educators. Some readers are like what we have mentioned a while ago. It's more about general patronage. It's not more on the researchers, not a particular group of scientists or experts, the so-called. And third, it should present the finding in such a way that they can be used directly as input into decision making. So ang finding natin should be able to help the one we are the one we are investigating or the one we are studying.
Hello, nawala po si Dr. Yuli.
Yan po si Sir.
Oo nga, naglag na. Sige po. So any question po so far? Meron po ba kayong question, clarification, any comments po? Babalik po si Sir maya-maya. Ay, nawala. Doc Richard?
Hello po, ma'am.
Nawala po si...
Opo. While we are waiting po kay Dr. Yuli, thank you so much po sa lahat ng mga attendees natin. Nagpapasalamat po ako pero huwag po muna kayong mag-aalis dahil nagsisimula pa lamang ang talk niya. Napakaganda actually ng topic ni Sir. Yung pagkatapos po nating pinagpaguran yung research natin na ilang months din nating semesters nating pinagtatrabahuan. Ito po yung isa sa mga pinaka-exciting part at nakakakaba rin yung ipe-present mo na presentation na ng research findings natin, pagbibigay ng research report, pagdi-defense, ganyan. Mamaya po mag-share din ako ng mga important tips po pagdating sa sharing ng research report na pangsuporta din sa discussion ni Dr. Yuli. Lalong-lalo na isa ito sa mga crucial yung mga recommendations ng mga panelists natin, no, kung paano natin silang i-address. Thank you po, Ma'am Christy. Back to you po. Siguro habang wala po si Doc Yuli, baka may na-prepare ka pong intermission number dyan, Ma'am. Dito lang po or anything. Thank you po.
Ako wala, Doc. Hindi ako nakapag-prepare. Talaga nag-prepare eh.
Opo. Connecting na daw po si Dr. Yuli.
Okay, sige
opo.
po. Thank you. Okay, while waiting to Doc Yuli. So, asan po si Sir Jose? Sir Jose, parang
Hello
nainganyo
po.
ako dun sa buti ka pa, gagraduate ka na. Sige po, any experience, pwede po kayong mag-share? Kasi kumbaga, konti na lang pong push, di ba? Gagraduate na po kayo. So meron po ba kayong maaring i-share sa amin na kapupulutan namin ng aral para naman po kami ay ma-inspired na tapusin ang aming pong doctoral degree? Sir Jose? By the way, saan po kayo nag-aaral, sir?
Ma'am, ano po? Sa Benguet State University po, La Trinidad, Benguet.
Okay. Gusto ko pumunta dyan, sir. Pag pwede na lumabas. Sige po. Sir, meron po ba kayong ma-share sa atin? Anything po para po dun sa inyo pong experience, sa inyo pong pag-aaral ngayon? Okay naman
Yes
po ba,
po.
sir?
Sige po, ma'am. Siguro
Thank
po,
you.
una-una po sa lahat, siguro po, bago po
Ayan.
tayo, ayan, nandiyan na po si Doc.
Andyan na po si Doc Yuli. Sige po, balikan po kita ha. Salamat po, Doc Yuli.
Sorry po, sorry
Thank
po.
you. Okay lang po.
Alam mo yung internet problem natin dito. So we're going to talk about oral presentation. Why do we need to have this oral presentation? This is more about sharing. This is more about disseminating your findings. Okay, so this is not only done actually nationally, not only done in your school, not only done in front of your panelists, not only done, but you can also present it outside of your country. You can also present it internationally. So generally speaking, an oral presentation supplements the written report, and the client should be given adequate time to read the report. Okay. So let's begin the writing the introductory section of the report. First, the introductory section. As soon as you have decided on the general approach, your study will follow. You don't actually have to wait for until you have determined all the details of the method, or else you won't be able to finish. I've been on writing for 3 years now because I have not started my introductory. So you don't have to really wait for all to get things what you needed before you start everything. Okay. Secondly, you have to find the method section. So you can even begin describing your method before you have collected all the data. So there are so many kinds of methods for a certain study. And although you may also have to make some changes if the procedure does not actually go exactly as planned. So may mga times na ang method natin is not suitable for this kind of study, and then we have to change that method. Sometimes to an easier one, and sometimes you may have to ask from your advisors. Okay, the advisors will always give you something that is more beneficial to your study. The results, you can also begin writing the results section of the report before you finish analyzing the data. So once you have this kind of data, you can try to start writing your result, and then later on you be able to polish it as you gather more information, and then you begin writing it before you finish collecting the data, or even before you start collecting the data. You have that perception already that what will happen to your study. You can actually start with that, with those drafts. Okay, and let's see, we also have these tables and figures. This is the decision you make in creating these tables, which will help you decide how to analyze your data. This is more of statistics. Okay, let's go on. So when readers see, so there are so many readers, there are so many, okay, like students, teachers all over the world. You will get to see your findings or your writing or your research. Now, when readers see a familiar term, they expect that the terms to have its usual meaning. If the meaning you intend is not exactly the same as the usual meaning, the readers will be confused. So you try to use when you try to use different terms. So if you are introducing a new term, make sure the readers understand that you are introducing a new term. So you try not to explain the term in a way that implies that your new term is already in common use. In short, instead of saying ABC means XYZ, we can say that in this report, we'll be using the term ABC, which means XYZ. In other words, pag ang terms mo ay nagamit na sa previous mga studies, you don't give it another term. You don't give it another meaning. So magko-confuse kasi yung mga other readers of your studies. So again, do not use the same term to mean two or more different things. Any problem with this? Using of terms? So again, reiterate ko lang do not use the same term to mean two or more different things. Okay? So ang isang meaning, isang term, wag nating ilagyan ng dalawang magkaibang bagay. Okay? Let's move on to the introduction to polishing your research paper. First, let's talk about what is revising. So andun na tayo, nandun na yung mga data natin, andun na yung methodologies. We have already presented our draft to our advisors. We have collected all the data. We have written all about our study, and now we are going to revise. So revising and editing are the stages of the writing process in which you can improve your work before producing a final draft. So may mga preliminary draft muna tayo, and then so we come up with so many data, information, and then we will be keep on revising, and keep on talking with your advisor for discussion, for brainstorming. So during revising, you add, as suggested by your panelists, or you cut out what is not needed. Yung mga hindi na kailangan po, alisin na natin. Sometimes may mga highfalutin words o mga terms na hindi naman proper or needed in a sentence or in this study, or change information in order to improve content. This is why we have these panelists, why we have this advisor. They want to improve our content. They want to make our study more readable, more reachable to our general audience. Take note that in revising your paper, you have to consider the use of diction, the sentence level issues, the transitional phrases, grammar. So after your after drafting, or before you come up with the final draft, you have to seek for the advice of yung mga magagaling sa English grammar, di ba? And then we are looking for the cohesion, or relating the paragraph back to your thesis or your dissertation, and incorporating proper format for the APA style, which is mostly needed or widely used in educational research. Again, let's see. So when you revise, you take a second look at your ideas. No, this is not a waste of time. So you're not just like wasting. So we don't blame the advisors for wasting our time, for dragging our years of stay in the school, but more of like we are incorporating new ideas to make our study more relatable, more readable. So again, you might want to add. After revising again and again, the advisor will see this might be added again, or this has to be cut. Okay. I have one advisor in PNU. The first week, he told me to cut this part. And then the second week, when I went back to him, he told me to add this part back. So pag kinalaban mo yung advisor mo, ang kalabasan mo is wala kang matatapos. So when I try to argue with him that you just told me I have to cut this part, and then binato na lang niya sa akin yung draft ko, and then he just said, oh sige, ikaw na lang gumawa niyan lahat. So let's try to learn from our advisor that maybe they are doing that for our goodness sake, okay? So lastly, when you edit, you take a second look at how you express your ideas. Again and again, you add or change words that is more suitable to that sentence or to that part of your study. You fix any problems in grammar, punctuation, and sentence structure, just like what we are doing to our students. So this way you will improve our writing style or writing skill. And then we make our own essay, make it into a polished, a mature piece of writing, and well, the end product is our best effort, a combination of the suggestions or recommendation from our advisors. Okay. So it is also important to create unity and coherence in writing a research paper. First and foremost, we have to follow outline. So what is this? So it offers you a reasonable guarantee that your writing will stay on the purpose of your study. Okay, so we're not drifting away. Kunwari, ang study is about how to stay well during this pandemic, and then your studies nag-drift away into vaccine. So naging iba yung naging product na, naging iba yung study. And then we also have this unity. When we say unity, all the ideas in each paragraph and the entire essay clearly belong and are arranged in an order and logical manner. Okay, lahat dapat may sense yan. Hindi yung the first sentence is we're talking about this and the second sentence is we're talking about another thing. So kailangan nag-jive sila, may unity. And then the third one, you have this coherence. When the writing has coherence, the ideas flow smoothly. Okay, this is what the advisors are actually suggesting to us. Okay. Lastly, the wording clearly indicates how one idea leads to another. So again and again, you can see from the outline, from the unity, from the coherence that all is leading just to make this a perfect piece of your own research report. So this is not just about getting a grade, a high grade for your dissertation, but more of after this, people will be seeing you, people will be studying your paper. Okay, so you can present it in the international at international level. So these are some of the suggestions in creating a coherence. So careful writers use transitions to clarify how the ideas in their sentences and paragraphs are related. So to make the words, to make your study grammars more fluid, or we will flow smoothly, adding transitions is not the only way to improve, but they are often useful and give a mature feel to your essays. I'll give you an example. So when you say transitions that show sequence of time or time, sequence or time, ito mga lagi nating ginagamit sa mga ano din, no? Dissertation or thesis, right? Meanwhile, in the first place, okay, at first, we have this, and then we have this, okay? At last, we found this kind of solution. This is a great study for this, okay? So these are the transitions that show sequence or time. Okay, these are transitions that show position naman. Have you used this in our dissertation writing? Not yet? Meron lang, beyond, okay. Beyond our expectation, behind the, at the top of these findings, at the top of this discussion, something like that. And transition that show conclusion. So we have indeed, hence. In conclusion, these are the findings. In conclusion, these are the recommendations for your school. In the final analysis, we recommend that you use this. We recommend that something like that. Therefore, thus, transitions that show importance. Above all, we suggest that something like that. We suggest that your school, we hope that your school, more importantly, or most importantly, okay? And lastly, but not the least, transitions that introduce the final thoughts in paragraph or essay. Finally, most of all, lastly, least of all, in conclusion, and last of all. These are but example for your reference. Okay, let's continue with the introduction to polishing your or our research paper. So these are the characteristics of an effective research report. So you will see an effective, what do you mean by effective? That there's no grammar, there's no mistake in grammar, okay? Effective means we are focused. An effective report emphasizes the important information. So we have to include all the details, all the information needed in the study. And next, we have this accuracy. So an effective report does not mislead the reader. So ang study natin hindi dapat magiging another result, no, or another findings from the previous one, no? Because it will only mislead the readers, the reader rather. Conciseness, what do you mean concise? Anyone, what do you mean concise?
Hello, Doc.
Concise is, yeah,
Si
yes.
English grade po. Nagpaparecite po ba kayo?
Opo.
Sige po, may premyo po ba sa recitation? Biro lang po.
May
Ah,
grade po. Ano.
concise po yung syempre pag ni-report mo po as much as possible, wag na masyadong paligoy-ligoy. Anyway, the purpose of research
Direct to the point. Yes.
is to inform, not to confuse people sa mga wordings na ginagamit natin. Yun po. Thank you po.
Thank you po, Sir Richard. So concise means you have to be direct to the point. You don't have to waste. Kumbaga sa road, marami tayong detour. No? Puro detour hanggang yun pala ang gusto lang natin to reach that destination. Okay? So again and again, sa conciseness is all about not wasting the reader's time. So it's not always that you have yung how many pages of dissertation, and sometimes it's just like a waste of a reader's time when your final result is just to meet this finding. Okay? And lastly, clarity is clearness. So an effective report does not actually confuse the reader. So to sum it all, we need to focus because we have to emphasize only the important details. Kumbaga sa Tagalog, wag nang paligoy-ligoy. Ha? Accuracy means yung report mo should be accurate, should be 100%. Kumbaga parang effective, kumbaga efficacy, accurate. Yung mga nakukuha mong information should be coming from, directly from, only from your study. Conciseness again is yung clearness and clarity. Okay? So in other words, our report should not waste the reader's time and should not confuse the readers with so many words that are not actually necessary. Okay, medyo patapos na tayo So our second learning competencies is, after hearing all these suggestions given by the panelists on why we need to follow, here are some or more tips to remember about your readers. So ito yung laging tinuturo sa atin ng advisor. Why they're advising us, they're giving us all the pointers, all the advices or the recommendations, because one, they don't want your readers to see. Readers do not actually notice our correct spellings. Okay, this is one of the concern ng advisor, but they do notice misspellings. Okay, this is one thing that we have to avoid. So our final draft should be less of a wrong grammars. So we do not also want to have these so many words that are misspelled. Ideas. Let's talk about ideas. Readers also look past your sentences to get your ideas, unless your sentences are awkward, poorly constructed, and frustrating to read. May mga study tayo na sobrang haba ng mga sentences that are not actually needed in this paragraph, and so on. Rhythm. What do you mean by rhythm? So can we ask someone to read? Ma'am Bagas.
Ako na lang po, Doc. rhythm. Readers notice when every sentence has the same rhythm as every other sentence with no variety.
Okay, so ano ibig sabihin ng rhythm? Kung ang sentence ba natin parang boring, and then most likely redundant, plain, most likely our readers won't be able to finish our study. Okay? So sometimes you have to add more flavors to our, di ba? Kumbaga sa pagluluto. And then the proper use. Readers do not what? Sure, when you use there, and there correctly. Sometimes naghahalo-halo tayo sa ano, there, or there. Correctly, but they notice when you do not. Kumbaga, ang paggamit natin sa there is a finding, tapos ang gamit natin yung second na there. There is a finding. Nakikita ng reader. So it is very important that you follow the advice of your panelist or your advisor. Okay? And also, why panelists suggest or are giving a suggestion or recommendations is they want our study or our paper to be error-free. So readers will notice that with the care that which you handled your assignments or your writing and your attention to details in delivery of an error-free documents. So all in all, the readers, again, they emphasize lang natin, they notice misspellings, number one. Second, ano yung pinaka-important dyan? Point. They notice we don't want our paper to have awkward sentences, right? Another, just because you wanted to finish, we wanted to rush up with our dissertation writing to finish to have this doctorate degree, and then ang sentences natin puro not acceptable at least by the general audience, no? Or poorly constructed. So these are the advices or recommendation by the panelists or your advisors. Number three is we try to have some kind of variety in our writing. So it won't look like so redundant. It won't be boring. Diba? Para may konting laman. And then the proper use of what?
Sabi po dito,
The proper use of, yes.
Language in writing research papers according to Sir Randolph, Dr. Randolph.
Apa. So the proper use of our sentences or the words. And lastly, we want our study to be error-free. Siyempre, hindi natin makukuha yung 100% error-free, but at least, no? Just like the vaccine, we are also looking for a 99, at least 90 to 99 efficacy, something like that. So take note that editing often takes time. It's not just one sitting. Sometimes it'll take like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but not forever. Okay? So I hope those who are into writing, you will be able to finish, pati ako, will be able to finish the research writing or dissertation writing even during this pandemic. So you budget your time. If you haven't started like your chapter 1, like what I've said a while ago, you can start creating or drafting. Now you can come up with your own first introduction. And then you can also think of your research problems, statement of the problems. And then you can also think of these hypotheses. You can also think of your what could be the result So when you have the actual result, you can make a comparison if you actually reach those results. Okay. And then editing and proofreading your writing also helps you to create a finished work, a very polished work that represents you, that you have really given your best effort. Okay? So it takes time. Siguro itong during the pandemic, we can start writing or visiting our study or our report. So who's into writing chapter 1 now? Anyone? Wala pa? Actually, I'm into dissertation writing 3 years ago. Up to now, I'm still into dissertation writing. So hopefully after this, I'll be able to restart again. Okay, let's see. Effective formal writing, as suggested by our panelists, uses specific, no? Yung mga talagang the terms that is needed for this study, appropriate words, and so we try to avoid slang, contraction, clicks, and other other overly general words, no? Yung mga paulit-ulit na mga words like most of all, or best, furthermore, mga ganun. Okay. Peer reviews done properly can give writers objective feedback about their writing. So if you happen to present your paper at an international level, your paper will be reviewed by what do you call the peer review. So I have also been a peer reviewer for at least 2 international conference, like the IO4. So it says here that it's the writer's responsibility to evaluate the results of the peer review. So the peer reviewer will give you suggestions, and as a responsible writer, we have to incorporate what they have suggested. This is what our learning competence is all about. Okay, and we'll try to incorporate only. Actually, some have negative feedback, but we're going only to incorporate those useful feedback. Sometimes negative feedback will also motivate us to make it better, right? Again and again, you have to remember to budget your time. Do not procrastinate. Do not take it for granted. Do not think, anyway, it's pandemic, the time is really running. So days are passing by so quickly, so fast, okay? So you have to take time, budget your time for editing, proofreading, and use all of the available resources from the internet, from the libraries. Okay, you can also come up with a checklist, peer editing, and so many just to improve your editing skills. You cannot just do it in one sitting. After one editing, you'll be able to improve more and get more ideas until you come up with a very good writing. Wait, I have to get my... wait. Okay, last, these are the steps to follow in submitting a final research report. First, what do we do? Can you read for me, Ma'am Christy?
First paragraph. Provide the essential interpretation based on key findings. Include a main piece of supporting evidence.
Okay, dun pa lang sa first paragraph. So, as to catch the attention of your reader, you want to give some kind of key, yung mga keywords that they will be able to see. So, and also we provide the essential interpretation based on the findings. So do not drift away from your findings, okay? And what they are looking for is the main piece of supporting evidence to prove that your study is for real, or it's not just based on other studies. Okay. Second paragraph, we might want to compare, to contrast the previous studies. This is the importance of the study of the related RRL. Related what? Review of the related literature, diba? RRL. So this highlight the strengths and limitation of this study. So when we study the previous studies, when we get to study the works or the findings of others, we try to improve, come up with another findings for this. And then if we have unexpected findings, we try to discuss with our clients, our advisor. Okay. So lastly, we summarize the hypothesis. Is our hypothesis null, or are we proving the hypothesis to be truthful? And the purpose of the study. Have we met the purpose? Have we met the objective or the goal of this study? If your studies is all about the community partnership, and the ending should come up with an findings that will strengthen or will do something about this community partnership. Okay, then we highlight the significance of this study. So they are all interrelated. Lastly, we discuss unanswered questions and a potential, because when we have a research, it's not always the final. After doing this research, someone might be able to get interested into your study, or to use your questionnaire, right? The questionnaire that you have presented in your study, someone might be interested in, and then use it in their study too. Okay? I hope you learned something. So credits to the following. These are all for the information for these educational purposes. So you can get all these details or information from this website. Lastly, may I share with you that success in life comes when you simply refuse to give up with goals so strong. That obstacles, failures, and loss only act as motivation. So just like this pandemic, we are all caught up in this pandemic, and it seems that we cannot do anything about this. But if we refuse to give up, like the ETCOR is doing to us, they are giving us so much information through this webinar. So we're not giving up on receiving more information. So we have to thank the ETCOR and the fellow consultants. Thank you very much also for the participants. So these are the obstacles, the pandemic. After this, we'll be able to, hopefully we'll be able all to graduate from this doctorate in due time. Ma'am Cristina, next year we'll be all graduating from PhD.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
Doc.
it
Opo.
doesn't mean that when you present your paper and then you fail to meet the requirements of the advisor, then you lost your interest or you lost your motivation. This will only this will only push us more to reach
Yes.
our destination, to reach our goal. And that is to be conferred with a degree of Doctor of Philosophy. So here I end my discussion. I hope I was able to share something to you in one way or the other. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank
Do
you
have
very
any
much.
question?
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Doc
Don Kia.
Yuli. Opo, thank you so much.
Thank you
So
so
any
much for
question
your
po?
participation.
Opo. So before we proceed to our Q&A, I will give the floor to ETCOR staff management for the oath-taking of newly appointed officers and or new research consultants to be administered by Dr. Bernadette De Harde. Mag-share lang po ako ng screen, Doc Yuli.
Apo, thank you very much.
Thank you po. Thank you so much. Balikan po namin kayo mamaya sa Q&A. Yan. Yan. Okay, good evening po, Dr. De Harde.
Okay, good evening, ma'am, Cristina.
Good evening po.
Okay, dinig po ako, ma'am, please.
Ma'am, loud and clear po.
Thank you so much po. Okay, so good evening and my respect to everyone. I have the honor to present the following newly ETCOR research consultants. Okay po. So, Professor Rina Constantino Asistio. Okay, may I request them po na to mag-on cam. Professor Reggie Boy B. Fabro. Professor Edson N. Solina, Professor Menard F. Miguel, Professor Richie C. Noveloso, Professor Roylin H. Dado, Professor Debbie Liz B. Bayani, Dr. Jemmy B. Manuel Garcia, Professor Hannibert G. Dayanan, Professor Ruby Jean S. Medina, Professor Alberto M. Dison, Professor Benji M. Manila, Professor Danilo R. De Los Santos, Dr. Therese Angela M. Cardens, Professor Janet C. Rivera, Professor Mylene R. Diza, Professor Neptune D. Tandog Jr., Dr. Gloria S. Santos, Professor Jean D. Tabi, and Professor Kimberly T. De Luna. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name.
I, Jimmy M. Garcia. I, Regina.
Do solemnly and sincerely
Do solemnly and sincerely
Sincere.
promise, swear, and declare
promise, swear, and declare
And declare
that I will truly and faithfully
that I will
I will
truly and
truly and
faithfully
faithfully
and to the best of my skills
and to the best of my skills,
knowledge and abilities
knowledge and abilities
execute the powers
execute the powers
and trust reposed in me
and trust repose in me
as ETCOR Educational Research Centers
as ETCOR Educational Research Centers,
take your position, please.
research consultants.
Consultants.
So help me God.
So
So
help
help
me
me
God.
God.
Congratulations and welcome to ETCOR's family. Virtual clap for
Congratulations
everyone.
po.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Congratulations to all.
Congratulations po. Thank you, Dr. Leharde. Thank you po.
Congratulations po.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Congrats
May
po,
I,
Ma'am Chair.
may I request everyone to please open your camera for our photo off. Okay, meron po tayong tatlong set. 1, 2, 3 sa first set. Okay, second set. Smile. 1, 2, 3. And then the last set. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Again, welcome po sa ETCOR and congratulations. Okay. So bago po tayo tumulo sa ating closing message, any question po? Clarification?
Ma'am Christy, meron po yatang mag-acceptance speech muna sa mga nag-oath taking.
Ay, okay po. Sige po. Salamat, Doc, sa pagkapaalala. Patapos na, kinakabahan pa. Ayan. Ayan. So to give us acceptance speech, he is a instructor, College of Teacher Education, a licensed professional teacher at Mariano Marcos State University, Lawag City, Ilocos Norte, Philippines. Please welcome Reggie Boy B. Fabro. Sir, good evening. Sir Reggie.
Our ETCOR mentors, leaders, coordinators, and fellow research consultants. These are the challenges of these formidable times. We stand and keep our head up high as we are selflessly and continuously searching for answers to assuage perennial problems and gaps for the benefit of humankind. Through ETCOR, we believe this is timely and relevant, a right avenue where we can help each other, cooperate and collaborate together. Through ETCOR, we believe it's
Sir Reggie, sir, medyo mahina po yata yung sa audio nyo. Pasuyo na lang po para...
Okay na, sir.
Sige po, paulit na lang
Sige
po.
po, sir. Okay.
Para po mas manamnam natin yung message ninyo, sir. Maraming salamat po.
Am I audible, sir?
Malabo po, sir. Sige nga po, sir. Ay, malabo. Sir Reggie?
Hello, ma'am.
Sige, garalgal pala. Choppy, sir. Sige nga po, sir.
Hello.
Doc Richard? Sige, Sir Reggie. Ay, wala po kaming naririnig. Wala po kayong audio, sir. Doc Richard?
Yes po, ma'am.
Wala po.
Pwede po natin siyang balikan mamaya. Pwede po nating balikan mamaya.
Okay, balikan po natin mamaya si Sir Richard.
Si Sir Reggie po.
Sige po. Balikan po natin si Sir Reggie mamaya. Tignan po natin kung meron po kayong mga question, meron po clarification.
Hi po, Doc. Good evening.
Okay, good evening po.
I'm sorry I cannot open my camera. Actually, this is not a question. My name is
Sige.
Samboy D. Franco
Sir.
from
Sir,
Pampanga.
good evening, sir. Sige po.
Good evening, fellow research advocates. My respect to our speaker, Dr. Ulysses Yu, and my commendation for delivering a very insightful topic. Congratulations. It is very true that writing a research report is a mechanical task, as it requires not only dexterity on the part of the researcher, but also extensive effort, endurance, and infiltration, and by and large, loom to the problem, data, and analysis, along with gloss over language and greater neutrality, all springing from significant contemplation. The reason for the research report is to communicate to the interested persons or individuals the complete result of the study in adequate detail and to settle the legality of the conclusions. Doc, you have mentioned the different types of research reports a while ago, and regardless of the structure and nature of the report, what matters most is that they are informative and based on first-hand verifiable information. Let us always remember that research report serves as a means to effectively communicate the findings of systematic investigation to all and sundry. One of the reasons for carrying out research is to contribute to the existing body of knowledge. We all know that. Also, with a research report, you would be able to identify knowledge gaps for further inquiry. A research report shows what has been done while hinting or other areas needing systematic investigation. In your presentation, you have outlined essential tips to help us create a research report. Thank you for that. When writing a report, one should always have the audience at the back of the mind, as this would set the tone for the document. Moreover, you inform us the need to avoid labels that have overloaded meaning, which implies to the labels that incorporate more information than the dimension of the patchy data actually provides. The presentation is very technical, but it's the right thing. However, we can still eradicate the fact that not all of the researchers or potential researchers are eloquent in writing. Even myself, grammar is still my Waterloo. Writing of report requires a set of skills somewhat different from those called for in respect of the earlier stages of research. This task should be accomplished by the researcher with utmost care. He may seek the assistance and guidance of experts. I believe it is one of the purposes of establishing ETCOR. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Sampoy.
Thank you
for
so
this
much. Thank you
information.
po. Very well said, Sir
Yes.
Samboy. Okay, sino pa po? Meron pa po tayong question, clarification, any comment po?
Or added information.
Or added information, yes?
I hope we will be able to learn from each other more and more through
Yes,
ETCOR. This is a nice platform for all of us. So it doesn't stop.
Ayan, sige po.
everyone.
Yes, Dr.
Hello.
Richard, sige po.
Thank you po. Bali, ano po, gusto ko lang pong mag-share, may mga konti po kasi akong notes dito. Number one po, of course po, napakagaling po ng ating speaker ngayon. Sabi nga po kanina ni Sir Samboy, very technical po yung mga dinidiscuss niya, pero wala po tayong magagawa because that is the right thing to do na ituturo natin because that is the meat of the discussion. So additional lang po na baka makatulong din po sa mga kasama po natin. Number one po, dito po sa nilagay ko pong mga notes. Tandaan po lahat natin yung mga recommendations ng mga panelists natin. Napaka-importante po noon. Lalo na po yung first and second defense po. Kung meron pong gano'n, kasi merong mga school na dumadaan pa po sila sa title defense kung saan mayroon silang tatlong title or topics and then maaprobahan ng isa. And then meron na naman pong another defense yung sa intro method, chapter 1 to 3 sa iba or intro method sa iba po. And then makakarating po sila sa pinaka-last part ng final defense. Napaka-crucial po that we have to remember yung mga advice, mga recommendation sa atin noong chapter, nung first and second stages po, napaka-crucial po ng mga yon. Lalo na po yung pangalawa, yung doon po sa intro method, particularly dun sa method section. At di po ba sa defense na iyon, the panel members will tell, we will tell our panel members about sa plano natin sa method, anong method ang gagamitin natin, sino participants natin, ano yung instrument na gagamitin natin, paano ang plan natin sa data analysis. But all of those things are plans which will be validated now by the panel members. Kumbaga, we cannot proceed sa mga plans natin without the panel members telling us na tama ang plano mo, medyo i-modify natin ng konti yung plano mo, ganito yung gawin mo. So napakahalagang tandaan po natin yon. Kasi pagdating mo sa final defense, isa sa titingnan nila ay kung nasunod mo ba yung plano. Although kanina meron pong note si Dr. Ulysses, kung minsan sa method section, may mga changes tayo na binabago na hindi natin naiiwasan. Pero syempre po, maganda rin po yung as much as possible kung paano natin pinlano, ganun natin na i-implement ang isang study. Kaya po napakahalaga na pakinggan talaga natin, isa puso natin yung sinasabi ng mga panel members natin. Somehow po, nakakatulong din na tandaan natin, hindi lang para sa paper natin, para din makatulong sa panel members. Kasi kung minsan, sorry po please don't get me wrong, merong mga panel members naman po na kung minsan meron silang kakaibang instruction o kaya may iba silang sinasabi sa final defense na tila bang may nakalimutan sila na noong defense mo ng intro method, ganito ang pinagawa nila. Kaya nga po dito sa note ko, sabi ko, kung pwede may minutes of the meeting, napakahalaga po noon. Para nagkakaliwanagan po, kaya mo ginawa ito because this is the instruction of the panel members in the first place. Hindi ka naman magpo-proceed sa ganitong step, sa ganitong step ng research mo kung hindi nila ni-recommend. So kailangan pong matandaan mo yung part na yun. Pero syempre, pag sinabi mo nga po yun, sabihin mo sa paraang hindi ma-offend yung panel member po. Sabi nga kanina ni Doc Yuli, napakahirap kapag panel member yung medyo quote unquote yung word is nagkaroon ng argument. So very important po yun. Pero kahit na noted ka sa panel member mo, sinasabi mo na gagawin mo, kailangan nag-assert ka rin ng konti based doon sa pagkakaalam mo sa study tsaka doon po sa napagkasunduan na ninyo. So ako po, another note po dito, pasensya na po kung medyo mahaba. Napakahalaga rin sa akin ng yung hindi tayo nagpapalit ng mga panel members sa stages ng defense. Kasi minsan nakokompromiso yung natin, yung mga researchers, kawawa naman sila na sa ganitong stage ng defense niya, ang kausap niya itong mga panel members na ito. Pagdating ng another stage ng defense niya, ibang tao na naman ang kausap niya. Which is in reality po ay nangyayari sa ibang mga universities. As much as possible po sana, kung sino yung umupo ng stage 1, siya rin po yung doon sa kalagitnaan hanggang sa dulo. Para at least po madaling i-trace yung mga instructions nila. And the last one po, pasensya na po, ano ba yung ito po, pag final defense po, dahil nasa research presentation na po tayo, ideally po, ang focus natin ay nasa results na lang ng study. Yun po yung tinitingnan natin kung ano yung naging resulta ng study. Kaya nga tayo bilang mga researcher, in-expect natin pag nag-defense tayo, mostly ang tanong ng mga panel members nasa results na nandun sa findings. Pero that is only our expectation. Kung minsan makakatsyempo ka ng panel member na final defense na meron pa siyang ginagalaw sa bandang umpisa ng paper mo, meron pa siyang ginagalaw sa method section. Which is kung for as long as na-justify naman niya, bakit niya pinapagawa iyon ay wala po tayong magagawa kung hindi sundin. Although po ang nakikita ko po sa mga final defense talaga, ang tinitingnan lang po talaga nila ay yung dun sa final defense, ay doon na lang po sa results mostly. Kasi nga po, yung doon sa bandang unahan tsaka sa method section, napagplanuhan na po yun at napag-agreehan na po yun ideally. So thank you so much po ma'am. Thank you so much po Dr. Ulysses.
Thank you po Dr. Sanchez.
Thank you po Dr. Richard. Thank you po. Salamat. Ang dami po naming natutunan. Okay, anything po? Yes po, Sir Jose, nag-raise po siya ng hand. May additional po kayo?
Yes, ma'am. Hello po. Gandang
Sige
gabi po.
Gandang gabi
to
po.
all. Congratulations po, Dr. Ulysses. Maraming salamat po for the sharing. Siguro napaka-importante rin po na dapat yung researcher ay personally inclined and engaged and interested study na kanyang ikakandak. Kasi there are also times na when we enter the defense, proposal defense, may mga instances kasi na minsan ang nasusunod na yung mga panel members natin or minsan yung advisor na mismo natin. Kaya minsan tinatanong kami kung sino ang nag-research, kayo o yung advisor ninyo. So napaka-importante po na kung yung magre-research tayo, dapat personally inclined and engaged and interested tayo din sa study para at least maipaglaban talaga natin kung ano yung gusto natin.
It's true. Yes po, Sir Jose. Thank you, thank you. Salamat po. Totoo po yan. Okay. Yes po, Dr. Dizon. Additional po. Magandang gabi.
Yes, po. Good evening po. In connection with what Dr. Richard have mentioned and also Professor Jose, I couldn't agree more with their statements regarding our panelists. I hope po, I believe most of us have been part of the panelists. Tama po ba? Naging panelist na tayo. I hope we try to eradicate the misconception of being a panelist. We are not there to gisain ng mga researchers po, but we are there to help them improve their study, for them to correct the path they are taking into. Because during the title proposal, I couldn't agree more with what Dr. Richard have mentioned. As researchers, we have also to write the recommendations. But then again, as researchers also, katulad ng sinabi ni Sir Jose, do not or fight. Kaya nga siya tinawag na defense. Diba? We have to fight for our study also. Kasi makikita mo, mapapansin mo, parang napapalitan na yung study mo. Diba? I believe these researchers, or as researchers, we really intensively research on our study, on our topic. And again, sometimes we have this model. Diba? We have this model research. That is the reason why we have to fight for our study, because that is our interest. Am I correct? I am not neglecting the ideas of the panelists. They are the experts. But then again, you are also experts on that particular study, because that is your, what do you call this? That is your interest. That is the topic that you have, that you love. That is the topic that you are very passionate about. So I hope before accepting the recommendations of your panelists, first, you have to fight. You have to defend your topic. If talagang hindi kaya, that would be the time na tatanggapin mo yung kanilang recommendations. But of course, with due respect, politely, we must be polite when it comes to, what they call this, expressing our defense to our topic. And also, I would like to also mention na, then again, accentuate the fact na let us be mindful when it comes to reporting our results. Remember, these results are the, what they call this, powerful ideas that we need to share to other people. I hope, di ba minsan po, ipipilit natin yung gusto natin para makuha natin yung favorable sa atin. Am I correct? The results, which is wrong. I believe, kung ano yung nakuha nating data, ano yung nag-gather natin, ano yung na-analyze natin, ano yung na-interpret natin, these are the ideas that we need to share. Hindi po natin kailangan dayain ang ating results. Kasi these ideas, kasi kapag research ka, syempre dumaan sa intensive process, systematic process, so paniniwalaan yan ng tao. So I hope we must write accurate results, and also, yung magagamit talaga, substantial sa ating audience. That would be all po.
Yes, that's true. Totoo po yun. Dr. Dizon, totoo po. Okay, any other po? Yes po, Audrey Licaros.
Hello, good evening everyone. Good evening, Ma'am Maria Cristina. Yes po. Congratulations, Dr. Oli, and thank you so much, Dr. Richard and others for the input, which is very nice. Actually, This is not a question, but this is just only an add-on to the part of making report or making a quality research. The topic is very vital, specifically for those who are engaged in writing research at this time. There is what we call a very discouraging part or crucial part in doing or making research, specifically for the QA or the TA or technical assistance coming from the panel, especially during editing or revising, because we need to edit without mercy. Sasabihin ng panel, recast, delete, add. Well, in fact, you have your sleepless nights, you failed to eat on time. Ang dami mong ginagawa, ginugugol so that you can make your own report, a very nice one. But for a quality or to have quality report or to have quality research output, kailangan talagang you need to edit without mercy. So yun lang po, ma'am. So for the students, for those who are engaging in writing, kailangan talaga i-edit natin without mercy. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Licaros. Thank you po. So dito sa ating chat box, ayan, meron pong mga nag-message. Yes, accuracy, reliability, and credibility. That's correct. So minsan, noted na lang po kasi hindi mo alam kung sino ang tama sa panelists. Okay, totoo po yun. And then, ayan, the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay, making sure that you are really sure that you know what you are going to study para maipaglaban mo talaga tulad nung paglaban mo sa kanya. May hugot si Sir Jose, okay? So meron pa po. Anything po bago natin balikan si Sir Reggie? Okay, again, the purpose of the defense is to produce a quality research which is substantial to the humanity. The researchers, our panelists, must work hand in hand to achieve this. That is why po we need to plan first what will be our research for. To make life peaceful, to make life peaceful, maging obedient sa panelists. Yes. Let's face the reality that different schools have different cultures. Totoo po, Sir Randolph. What Dr. Richard said is what we should be polite to our panelists and advisor. Yes, we are the researchers and we know more about it. But at the end of the day, advisor and panelists play a vital role in the researcher's success. Yes, talagang puno-puno tayo talaga ng idea tungkol dito, no? Galing, dami po nating natututunan. Okay, meron pa po additional. So kung wala na po, babalikan po natin si Sir Reggie. Sir Reggie, okay na po yung audio nyo?
Hello, ma'am.
Okay. Sige
Am I
po.
audible na, ma'am?
Yes po.
Oh,
yes,
right.
sir.
My apologies for a while back. Okay, so our environmental research consultants, good evening. As we are facing the challenges of these formidable times, we stand and keep our head up high as we are selflessly and continuously searching for answers to assuage perennial problems.
Reggie, excuse me. Nasa electric pan po ba malapit? Ano ba kaya? Nag-feedback po? Wala?
Wala po. Wala
okay. Sige po. Continue na, sir. Sige po.
We believe this is timely and right avenue where we can help each other cooperate and collaborate. Through ETCOR, we believe it's a mission and vision for us to learn and relearn towards. We humbly accept this responsibility and open for challenges to unravel before our hearts. May the culture of research thrive in this dynamic world so we can synergistically respond to our evolving needs and goals towards a transformative and sustainable world. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sir Reggie. Thank you very much. Okay. Ayan. So kung wala na po tayong additional, ito na po ang ating submission.
Cristina, ka-mute ka po.
I thank you po. Sorry. Embracing the Culture of Research, or ETCOR, Educational Research Center, Santa Ana, Pampanga, Philippines, present this certificate of recognition to Dr. Ulysses Yu, licensed professional teacher, for his invaluable time and expertise as a resource speaker in the national webinar on Practical Research 1, Qualitative Research, and Practical Research 2, Quantitative Research of ETCOR Educational Research Center, held on May 26, 2021, and conducted under the advocacy project SAGIP Mananaliksik for Everyone, with advisory from the Department of Education. Signed, Bernadette L. Harde, Overall Project Coordinator, and Head Research Consultant, Dr. Richard D. Sanchez. Congratulations po, Dr. Lee. Thank you so much.
Thank you po sa lahat.
Okay po.
Thank you po to ETCOR.
Thank you. Okay, now to give us a closing message, may I call on a teacher 1 from SDO Ilocos Sur, from Sinait National High School. Please welcome JGI Yadaw. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am JG, good evening po.
Hello po, ma'am. Hello po.
Hello po.
Ma'am, clear po yung audio?
Okay po, clear po.
Sige po. Hello po, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Opo, okay po.
Okay, so once again, good evening, my dear fellow ETCOR's family. Okay, so I am here today to deliver my closing message. So if you steal from one author, it is plagiarism. But if you steal from many, it is called research. Because the best research you can do is to talk to people. Life is too short to learn from your own mistakes. Therefore, you need to learn from others. Gaya ng sabi kanina ni Dr. Yu na marami tayong matututunan dito sa ETCOR. And it is my great pleasure that our resource speaker imparted us a fruitful discussion. And yung tumatak sa akin kanina na discussions ni Dr. Yu, he mentioned about the different characteristics of an effective research report. So we have the first characteristic is the focus, followed by accuracy, then conciseness, and of course the clarity. We need these 4 characteristics in order for us to emphasize the important informations of our studies. And hence, the productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment and of course, our focus effort. Then because the ultimate objectivity, the ultimate goal of all research is not objectivity, but it is the truth. So mind you, my dear participants and fellow consultant of the ETCOR, most of the important thing in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept trying. We are glad because we have ETCOR. It is a research program considered as a voyage of discovery of new knowledge. And totoo naman yun. So, thank you, Dr. Richard, and of course, to the whole family of ETCOR. More power. And so, bottom line, there is no research without action, and of course, there is no action without research. To end up this day's webinar session, always make each day your masterpiece. So God bless and keep safe, everyone.
Thank you, Ma'am JG. Thank you so much. Sorry, reminder lang po. Opo. The event is for free. Those who request for documents, certificate for the 3-day national training, invitation letter, training matrix, and memo advisory will have to pay 300 pesos. Said amount will help ETCOR in its operational expenses, compensation for staff, office maintenance. Okay, so ETCOR's official t-shirt and polo shirt being sold by Blueprint Shop owned by Dr. Mark Joseph Visangkil. Clarify that this is not the ETCOR that is selling the shirts, but Blueprint Shop. We are only a beneficiary of certain percentage of the sales. This means that interested customers should contact Dr. Sanghil and not the ETCOR. Okay, so ngayon po, babalikan po natin yung kanina. Okay, balikan po natin yung kanina ko kasi nag-iwan po ako kanina ng game sa inyo. Unahan po dun sa ating chat box. Ilan po kaya ito lahat? Fans na Ayan, pasensya na nawala na po yung aking internet connection. Ilan po yon yung ating mga picture sa ating poster? Tignan ko nga po, meron po tayong prize. So yun po yung poster natin ngayon, kaya sa mga darating na araw, mas lalaki pa po. Apo, meron po tayong prize. Ilan po? 179? Hindi, hindi po siya 179. Ito po yung clue. Less than 200, more than 150. Less than 200, more than 150. Ilan po kaya? Naku, malapit na.
175.
175? Hindi po. Sige, konti na lang po tayo.
Ang hirap naman ng clue mo, ma'am. Ang layo.
180, ma'am.
Ano po?
181.
Hindi po. Hindi po 181. Sige pa. Sige pa.
181, 182.
159.
Hindi po.
159
199
to 99.
150,000 daw. Niloloko na ako nito ni Sir Randolph. Sige po. Meron po tayong prize. May prize po tayo.
151 to 99.
Less than 200.
177.
Ayun! Meron na ba ako nakita? Richie Noveloso. 176 po ang pictures dun sa ating poster. Sir Richie Noveloso, congratulations po. Chat mo po ako.
Thank you po.
Bigay mo po sa akin ang GCash nyo. Sir Richard, anong day po tayo ngayon? Pang ilang day po natin? Ano daw? Balikan. Ay, balikan ko sa kanya. Ay, balikan ko na.
Merong motion for reconsideration si Dr. gumawa.
May 179. Teka, 180, 177, 151, 199, 152, 195, 176 po ang total. Ang tama pong sagot. 177 si Sir Mervin. Oh, sayang 1 point. 170. Wala pa ako makita. Doc Richard, wala pa ako makitang 176. 176.
Meron si Dr. Gumawa.
Ayun si Dr. Gumawa, 8:22 PM na send.
May 8, ayan, kuha talaga. 8:22. Oh. Sige, forward ko po ah. Hindi talaga tiwala hanggat di nakita eh.
Anong oras ba yung kay Sir Richie Noveloso?
Sir, sa time na lang po magkakatalo. Ano pong oras kayo?
Si Dr. Francis 8:22, si Dr. 176, no? Nasaan ba?
Naway all may pa-Gcash. Opo. Sige, sino na ba ang
824
nanalo?
po sa akin. 824 po.
824.
Panalo po yung 8:22, si Dr. Gumawa.
Sino? Wow, Dr. Gumawa.
Bahala na po si Ma'am. Ma'am, bahala ka na po, Ma'am Cristina.
Opo. Doc Richard,
Dalawa na lang po kami, charot.
Pang ilang day po natin. Hatiin nyo na lang po. Gusto nyo po?
Hatiin
na lang po. Okay, sige.
Opo.
Doc Richard, pang ilang day po natin ang webinar ngayon?
3rd day po, ma'am. Last day po.
300 pesos po.
Wow.
350 po kayo. Coming from me, pakichat po ako. Bibigay ko po yung GCash ninyo. Tig 150 po. Thank you po. Thank you so much. God bless you. Doc Richard, thank you for the opportunity.
Nakukunwari lang pong kumukuha ng number niyo para Gcashan. Gagawin ko yung textmate niyan.
Hindi mo. Naku,
Joke
nalaki
lang
naman
po.
yung ETCOR. Okay lang po. Thank you po. Pakichat po ako. Bigay ko po yung GCash ninyo. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Stay safe. Bye-bye po.
Bongga si Mayura.